Moderation, it's a job, and I'm not fit for it. Miles on vacation, it has a pretty good excuse, is getting married over in Scotland, is probably streaming that, is probably listening to this with a little bit of anxiety. Thank you, Miles. We got things okay from there, I hope. So we'll do company and product updates, and then we're gonna have plenty of time for Q&A. We'd love to hear your feedback about what we're gonna be sharing with you, whether that's smart locks updates, direct updates, and obviously metrics, which we know you've been looking forward to. So I'm gonna start with a little bit of a disclaimer. This is something that's mandatory for us right now. We are fundraising, and that's why we need to basically make sure that you understand that what we're talking about. It's really vibing. We don't really have precise audited statements, so please do not use whatever we're talking about here to make financial, life, or business decisions. Especially for the purpose of investing into Hospitable. Nothing in there can be construed as soliciting for investing into Hospitable. You need to be a qualified investor, and you need to fit a few criteria to be allowed to do so. So you can pause right now if you're live streaming or looking at that or recording on YouTube to understand what we really mean by that. And now this is out of the way, we can talk about vanity, my favorite subject, I guess, or at least that's the one I need to stick to. So I told you last town hall 2 weeks ago already that there is quite a bit of pressure, so quite a bit of an announcement at a given date, which was September 12th, which was exactly a week ago. And if you've been following our social media, you know what we're talking about. G2 has named us a leader in the vacation rental space. And that's the title that we are cherishing quite a bit, and especially it has a little bit of a twist, and I'm going to get to you on that with in a bit of detail. We are the leader. We also received all the badges for all categories. They created some new categories for other companies to be able to get a leader badge. We still got ranked higher than they do, and we still got this new regional badge leader in the Americas. To be fair, that's where 90% of our customers are currently located, and it will be much more difficult for us to have a leader in APAC or in Europe. Now, this gives us a bit of a vibe like we are North Korean generals, all over badges everywhere. You should see what our email signatures look like at this point in time. But that nonetheless, it's backed by reality. And that's what I wanted to thank you for. You know that if you've been invited in recent weeks, in recent months to contribute to a review on G2, you know it's actually hard work. It takes quite a bit of time to provide those reviews. And that's why we take those reviews very seriously, because it allows G2 and ultimately the products that are benefiting from those reviews a lot of insights based on very high quality input from your customers. They even do interviews, and there is an analyst that also verifies the results. And it's also very difficult to get your review published. They're going to really check everything to make sure it's not exposed to fraud, for example. So thank you to everyone that contributed and posted their review, whatever it was about, on G2 in recent week. Now, we are a leader in the vacation rental. This is the highest. We also have the highest satisfaction score in the industry, and that's something I want to particularly emphasize. We you don't have to trust me on that. This is literally what G2 is writing in their own report that I give you a snapshot for right now. We received, as a company, Hospitable, the highest satisfaction score among all products in vacation rental. So you can see here particularly the breakdowns of quality of support, ease of use, ease of admin that we needed to meet to be able to get that specific distinction. And you can see how we are positioned with the rest of the industry. So that's for G2 is their grid. And basically, the furthest you are on the right, the higher satisfaction you get. When you are on the left, you actually have a negative NPS score. So that means people would recommend that they leave from this product. And then you have market presence. So higher is going to be top market presence, which means supposedly are a larger number of customers and a greater reach in the market. It's not actually taking that into account. It's taking into account the number of LinkedIn followers, the number of social media followers, the number of employees, if I mention that directly. So you can have a gigantic company with very few customers, it would still show as a top market presence. It's not exactly the case for us. The reality is that we have about as many employees as Wheelhouse, but we are not exactly the one that is the largest company in the space. And I think that part is, we know, but we are very proud to say that we are the company that offers the greatest customer satisfaction. And you can see by quarter margin considered compared with other products in the space. And you can see here, Hospitable on the rankings really showing well above every other company in the space that you maybe have considered at one point in time for their product, for your PMS channel management. We also have scored in particular the best relationship. Now, don't be worried. I will not go into detail over everything, but we just this one is particular because it's the relationship that we have with our specific customers. And especially we receive the badges for easy to do business with and the best relationship. And I think one of the components is particularly this channel where we can share about our own product updates and engage with you, hear your feedback, read your hands about whatever direction it is. And that basically warrants this 9.8 score out of 10. And you can see the breakdown with other companies that you know and sometimes love or love to hate in the space. So we want to spill the beans. And we actually we have a bit of an ask this time. You see those reports. We are the one company in the space that is the highest rated in the satisfaction by its customers. So let's do it again. We are the top company by customer satisfaction, and we would love to educate our market about that we are that highest satisfaction product. We want to license those G2 content, those G2 reports to compare the performance of Hospitable next to other products. And we believe that's a good marketing operation because we are going to be able to have a lot more traction and a lot more interest from customers who have maybe, let's say, opinionated statements in their minds based on what their experience has been like. So we have an ask in particular this month for our investors. And that is to contribute for 47K of the cost of those licenses. Now, having those reports is expensive. We want to have that over a 3-year period so that we can be consistently known as the highest rated product in the industry. And no one else can do that because no one else is going to license content to show that some other product has a higher satisfaction. So it's not something that other companies can replicate or destroy easily. It's also, even though the costs may seem quite high, the reality is that it takes 25 customers lifetime value to basically make that a profitable operation. So if you are an investor, I can tell you that we are really going to aim to make more than 25 customers in 3 years based on educating them about the customer satisfaction. In fact, I believe we could go towards 25 customers per month extra based on the highest rated product based on being the highest rated product in the industry. So we have this ask. If you are considering investing, you're going to be investing in the company, but we can really put that capital to work right now for this marketing operation that we believe is profitable and is about positioning us as, dare I say it again, the highest satisfaction product in the space. So you can check out this QR code, which gets us to your investor portal. You need to be an accredited investor in the United States to be able to invest. We fundraised, I think a month ago, about 170K live on the tunnel. So I think that could be an opportunity there as well. We are going to do it. We just would love to have your support so that it's a bit easier and we can dedicate the rest of our resources very much on growing our product. If you have any questions, you can always send them my way on invest@hospitable.com. And the token has kept growing. I'm just giving that little bit of an update. It increased a little bit. It was at 6.6 last time. Now it's going to be at 6.74. And that's basically the result of a call to arms for funding those G2 reports and obviously the marketing operations behind it. We are not growing 35%. We are well above that. And that's an annual run rate of revenue numbers for the year 2022, growing in excess of 50% this year to date. And we still have plenty in store for our customers and the market. 32 days to VRMA. This is, again, a bit vanity. We're going to have a very specific experience for all customers that are coming to visit us. I also want you to secure your evening for October 22nd. We're going to be part of the Cassiola Beach Party crew, and we'll be offering you a relaxation, a lounge time moment just before you hit the dance floor. So we want you to be there so that we can talk shop, we can chat about what it is to be running an hospitality business, a short-term rental business, and obviously help us build the next generation product for doing so. Okay, stop with the board salad. I'm cutting myself off, and I'm very proud to go over to Andrew for more direct updates. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be better with you. Thank you.
I think everyone knows what the first slide is. And unfortunately, it's only a new emoji this time. We're making progress, but we're not there yet. So we've got, I hope, one remaining issue that we're trying to kill right now. You can see that we're now over 1,500 properties signed up for Google. 98.7% of them have no issues. So we just need to figure out what the last remaining issue is to get up to a perfect score. And then Google will sign off on our integration and we can go live for everyone. So don't have an ETA on that, but it is the highest priority for our team. So hopefully we can get that done as soon as possible. Otherwise, we did launch some new features this week. We have adjustments, ad hoc refunds. We mentioned this last week. I'm about to pull the trigger right after this and roll it out to everyone. You are going to be able to issue an ad hoc refund on a direct reservation, whether it's basic or premium of any amount you desire, up to the total amount the guest paid, with the catch that you need to have that amount in your balance account. So if you've already paid out on the reservation, you would need to have some future reservations that you could draw from to do a ad hoc refund. Otherwise, property direct tab, I've got a screenshot on the next slide for that, so we'll take a look at that next. But we did get the payout history page updated for direct basic. And we have, okay, now they're on the direct tab. So this was a big update for us. If you were in the properties section before, you would have seen a booking widget here, and that was all we were giving you access to. We've replaced that for two reasons. One, those are legacy widgets, and we will be winding down support for those. We've got some new features that we had to actually change the structure of the widget for those. So we'll be replacing those. And then we also wanted to share a lot more content there. So on this page now, this is kind of your go-to hub for a property's direct information. So at the property level, you'll be able to get any URL, whether it be for a site or for a widget, and quickly either open that page or copy the URL. You'll be able to check on the payout method, even change the payout method, check on the cancellation policy. We don't let you change that just yet, but that's coming soon. You'll be able to see all non-expired, currently active promo codes. You just click to copy it to your clipboard, and then you can share that with a guest. And then for direct premium hosts, we'll report all your taxing. That's been your taxes. Sorry, that's been something that's been requested by a lot of hosts. So it is now there for you. And yeah, that's the new hub. And then last thing on items that are new is we did unpublish sites for hosts that still had not set up direct fully. So you hadn't added payment processing yet. We did notify you of that over about a month-long period, and then finally pulled the trigger on that on Monday and unpublish your site. Good news is it's still there. You can republish it. You just need to finish setting up direct. So that's picking a plan, setting up a payout method, sorry, and then you can republish your site. We need to do that for a number of reasons that we can chat about in the Q&A if anyone is curious, but those were explained in the email we sent out already. Otherwise, what we're working on now, the other side of adjustments is requesting money from a guest after a reservation has already started in direct, otherwise known as ad hoc fees. That's currently in development. I think we're going to try to have something to test by the end of this week. Although, yeah, we did have a sick day today, so maybe early part of next week is better for that. This will be sending a payment link to users, whether it be through Stripe or through your direct premium payout method, to collect like a pool heating fee or any negotiation you did after the fact. Anytime you need to send a request for money, you should be able to do that. Otherwise, big one, multi-property search. Actually making good progress on this. Most of the back-end work is basically done. It's now a front-end project. So we're designing what the search bar is going to look like, how the search results are going to look, and how that's going to work for both hospitable sites as well as custom sites. So that's very much in progress. We said direct premium Canada and UK are in progress. Last town hall, I think we said there was good news that we didn't need quite as much infrastructure in place on the technical side to do this. We've been doing tax discovery on Canada right now. Canada, I think, is a bit of a in the middle between like the crazy complexity of US taxes versus the very simple complexity of just collecting VAT in Europe. Canada's have several districts and counties and city regions and taxes. So we are going to have a little bit of a robust tax solution in place for that. So that's in progress. And then, yeah, we onboarded, or we are in the progress of onboarding a new direct support team member. So that team now is going to have more support hours for you to help with reviewing guest vetting, to help getting set up on direct, any questions you have about payouts, things like that. We're going to continue to expand that team as we go forward. And then on the horizon, the features that we'll be working on next is, like I said, with the direct hub, those legacy widgets will get removed. We'll be notifying people about that soon. You will need to update to a new widget, which will allow you to change the color scheme. We're going to actually start tracking conversions on those widgets as well and reporting those. We can't do that on the legacy widget, so those will have an end of life date that'll get announced soon. Big feature updates that are coming: quotes, scheduled payments, and other midterm stay improvements. And then we just had a meeting just before this with AutoHost, so the guest verification. We are going to get the guest IDs into the inbox so you can have the full context of the information that we're seeing from AutoHost. And yeah, that's in progress as well. And that's for direct. Pass it to core. Melissa?
Hello, everyone. I'm not normally in town hall, but happy to be here today to go over everything. So yeah, core and connectivity. First off, with smart locks, we are progressively moving toward achieving our goal of reaching a 99.99% success rate for codes. And we are continuing to make ongoing improvements to make our smart locks integrations the most reliable and easy to use as possible. But the big news is, of course, that we have released the Nuki and Igloo Home lock app integrations in private pilot. So if anybody on here is already using Nuki and Igloo locks, you can sign up to join our private pilots. You can scan the QR codes there, and I'll also have Kevin put the links into the chat as well. There's a couple of qualifiers. You just need to make sure that you meet to join the private pilot, but we would love to have you in there and get everybody early access. And for the next slide, we do have some updates with booking.com. It's getting better. We are now using the messaging API, which means that we don't have to go through the special request contact anymore, but it also means that some issues we were having sending and receiving those messages are resolved. And so it's a big plus to the, for the roughly close to 7,000 properties that we have on booking.com. So it's a huge improvement. We are working now to add support for other occupancy-based rate plans. And that actually isn't just going to be for booking.com. We're looking to kind of add that ability to add extra guest fees across the board for all channels. And then up next for that, we know and have known for a long time the booking.com connection flow can be a little difficult. And so once we get some of these updates in place, we are going to be improving the whole connection flow experience to make that easier for anyone who wants to get set up on booking.com as well. All right, and for some recent improvements, I'm sure a lot of people love this. You can now send, and this is partly to do with the messaging API update for booking.com, but you can send attachments in certain messaging rules for booking.com, direct and manual bookings. You are already able to do so for Airbnb. And we are working towards supporting those attachments for VRBO bookings as well. But in the meantime, now you can send it for everyone else. We've also made some improvements so that accounts with secondary users get logged out of their mobile app a lot less than they were before, and same for those secondary users that have the mobile apps. So that should be helpful. We also just yesterday pushed a fix where the check-in and checkout times for inquiries specifically were not pulling in the listing defaults. So we're doing that as well. And now for the bigger update, and why I'm really here with you all is to give more updates on metrics and where that feature is. So to give a little preview of everything, when to have this, the whole dashboard, we will have 23 new key performance indicators, as well as charts. As you can see, it's kind of broken down into the same sort of exports we have now. We have reservation, financial data, we have taxes, we have reviews, and we have tasks. And so now you can see all those KPIs in there. You also have some comparative statistics where you can compare how you're doing to the previous time frame. So if it says 30 days, you could be comparing to the last 30 days. You're also able to filter this data by lots of different property data points like location, currency, reservation status, different things like that, as well as host. For those of you who are property managers, you have a lot of different owners. You know, you can make this really specific to a specific owner. And also very helpful, you can actually save these views so that you can come back to them later and not have to reconfigure everything each time. And next slide. Nice. And for each of these, before you had to actually see all the details, all the financial details, you had to send the export and then wait for that to come in and look at everything. Now you can actually see all of the details directly in your dashboard. And you're also able to filter out certain columns. There is a lot of data in there. We want you to be able to have all the data that you need, but it can be a lot to digest sometimes. So now you will have the ability to filter out those columns. And when you export, if you choose to export the CSV like before, because you want to send to your owners or your accountant, those filtered out columns will remain filtered out. So it'll stay a cleaner document. We are also adding the ability to send a link to view that specific dashboard. And this could be great for particularly those property managers. You can share that link with your owners and they can see, actually, if you could go to the next slide, yeah. They can see real-time data with locked filters. So you can be sure they're only seeing their properties, and they can only see the data that you want them to see, but it's going to be real-time data, and they can change that time frame in there to see what they need to see. And you can also, of course, revoke permissions to that link at any time. But that should be super helpful. And that screenshot that you see there is what that dashboard will look like. It's just kind of a smaller view of exactly what you would see. And now, before I go into the other screenshots of the slides, we want to give you a poll to ask how you feel about what I've shared so far, particularly as it relates to the link to view the dashboard.
Yes, so now the question is live. The first question that Alisa is asking, how satisfied are you with a public link to view the metrics dashboard? So that's specifically that screen that we showed you before, where the filters are locked, but will show real-time data. And the other thing that we believe is important to qualify that is how likely are you to be using this public dashboard, so to share your revenue metrics with a third party that maybe if you're a property management company owner or other stakeholders in your business. Thank you very much. We got 35% of participants responding. So please participate. It helps us create a bit of a product for you, including if you are not, feeling it. Please let us know now. How far along are we, Alisa, on the development on metrics?
We are very close to having all of the backend data set and accurate and everything synced, that, pulling in. There's some data that has been missing in the past. So we're making sure we get all of that. We're making sure all the data that we show is accurate. So we're kind of filling in all those gaps in the back end. That should be done pretty soon. And then we start work on the front end. And the front end is going to be what makes or breaks this product. So what it means is that there's plenty of time to share your feedback. I'm going to end the poll in 3, 2, 1.
it's a now. Okay, I'm going to end the poll and I can share the results with you. So thank you. It's overwhelmingly supportive. 5
Wonderful.
would be very satisfied with the way to share the view, to share the matrix dashboard. And it seems like, to my surprise, 63% of this audience, which is obviously very peculiar and lovable, would love to use it in as soon as it's coming. So, you know,
I'm personally curious why you're surprised that 63% are very likely to use this public dashboard, but we can talk
because
about
my
offline.
job and my job is basically to make sure that it's a property owner's product. So property managers can basically find a place in that, absolutely. But I want to change the paradigm to be focused really on the owners, on the small scale host, which represent 85% of the business in the United States. So that's why I'm surprised, but not so much based on the audience and the question that we typically have here on those channels. So I will disappear and we're going to stop sharing. Thank you very much, everyone, for participating, and we can follow the rest of the updates.
Yes, and as I go through, I should have said so at the beginning, but please do, if there's, as we're going through, there's some particular metrics or functionality that I haven't discussed that you would really like to see or really need, please do pop that into the chat, and we can take account of that as well. But yes, where we are now with the, so continuing on, the taxes dashboard, we still allow you to see both a summary of the tax information as well as the detailed export information without without actually having to download that export. We are also including those relevant KPIs so that you can see how many pass-through taxes you still owe, for instance. So that's what you could see there, and then what your specific taxes are. Next slide. As for the reviews, just a bit more information just to give you an idea of where your standing is. We'll give you the overall average, as well as broken down by the different, specific reviewed items. So you can get an idea of where your property maybe needs to be improved upon, though location isn't much something that you can improve, but there are other things, and it could be particularly helpful if you use any teams or cleaning teams or management teams or something like that. You can see how they're doing. Next slide. And tasks. The big update there really is just being able to see all of the task data again without the exports. There isn't other information added there as of yet. And then the final one is just being able to, as before, see your earlier exports, resend that data, including links, and downloading any previously downloaded exports. I will make a note on the exports that, currently you can do a single CSV with all the data or multiple, and it's broken down by properties. One thing that we are adding there is that for any export, you will also get all of those KPIs as a separate CSV so that you don't have to be calculating all of those if you're sending that to an owner or something like that. But yes, that is it for me. And I think that might be all in general, Pierre. So if I think we'll start with questions. Yeah.
I think that is, I'm just checking, but yeah, we can stop sharing. Thank you, Alisa, for sharing all of this. We did have a few questions live. I think I saw that on the chat. Obviously, this is not live right now. That would be too late to collect some feedback. This is currently something that Alisa and her team of engineers are working towards. And so we keep you updated. And that's a perfect moment, however, to share your feedback and let us know how you feel about what you've just seen. So now we are on the Q&A segment, which is the best. And so, yeah, if you want to participate and get on stage, you will be recorded. Please make sure, however, so you can raise your hand. You can go into, I think, reactions. and then raise your hands, and we'll basically allow you to talk. The first one for this will be Andrew, which I am going to welcome right there. Hello, Andrew. Not Andrew, not our Andrew. There's another Andrew. There's plenty of Andrews everywhere. Hello, Andrew.
Hello, and my question is for Andrew.
Yeah, I'm going to leave you alone.
About direct booking, first a yes or no clarification, but then I have my real question. You talked about retiring the booking widget. Just to clarify, do I need to take action on my end to activate the new booking widget or no?
Yeah, so if you've got the legacy widget used in like a custom site, for example, you will need to update to the new widget. And you would do that so when you go into Hospitable, you go to Direct, and there's a sites and widgets is the first screen on there. You'll need to add one widget for all of your properties. And that will allow you to already start taking advantage of the ability to skin that widget with some different color schemes. And then you'll need to replace all of the URLs that you had previously on the legacy widget, because there's just so many things that we can't do, unfortunately, with that legacy construct.
If it's a Hospitable site, do I still need to do all that?
No. And that's something that that's something that a lot of hosts get tripped up on. If you're using a Hospitable site, you don't need a widget. We take care of that for you. And that's something we're trying to make more clear in the product at the moment. But yeah, widgets are for custom sites primarily. If you have a Hospitable site, no action needed.
Okay. I thought I had to choose one, but maybe I was confused. So my real question, I got a direct booking 2 nights ago, and I have no idea where it came from. I've only been promoting my direct booking site for a few months through MailChimp. The woman that booked my property, which I'm happy that it came through, is definitely not on my mailing list. Interestingly enough, for some reason, even though all her info is in Hospitable with the booking, her email address did not import to MailChimp like VRBO does. And for Airbnb, I have to get them to tell me in the messaging, but it imports. So I was confused about that. But is it possible this is a Google Vacation booking, or is that impossible? Okay.
I'd love to say yes, but no.
I don't know where she came from. It's not bad news. It's good news. I'm just awfully confused.
No, we hope you get a lot more of those. As long as your site is live, it is searchable still. It doesn't mean that you can't Google and find your site. Depending on what your domain is, that might actually be happening quite a bit for some users if you have a nice custom domain or something. It can come from anywhere. It's the World Wide Web. But good news on that.
I am using a custom domain, but it's young, and I've searched. I really don't believe I'm on the first page of Google. Like other people are. I'm not.
No, but you're going to see a lot of people if you are kind of hinting at your brand on one of the OTA channels. There are plenty of people that will take that hint and they'll go find your site. If it's if you got the .com for your brand, they'll find you from an OTA. So that's not hard to believe.
One of the best tricks to find your listing and your direct booking website is basically just Googling your listing name on Airbnb, and they will hopefully find exactly the same on your direct booking website. So you will be the first on the first page of results.
So they might have seen it on Airbnb.
It's perfectly okay to be a bit dubious or suspicious over basically whether you're going to compete with Airbnb Booking.com. You will not. However, in the market of your listings, your direct booking website can be reigning supreme compared with Airbnb and Vrbo and Booking.com and wherever that is listed. It's a very popular thing that a lot of guests are more informed about. And then you own your client. Which is fantastic.
And we'll take a look at that MailChimp and see if there's an issue there. Andrew, thanks for letting us know.
Thank you, guys.
Yep, thanks.
Thank you very much, Andrew. I'm sorry, I'm very new to this little moderating thing. Next, we have Tom, who I think has been chatting with. Oh, stop! I made a mistake. I made a boo-boo. No, I'm finding you again, and I'm going to allow you to talk. Hello, Tom. You had a conversation already separately with Andrew. What's up?
Yeah, just a little about if I missed it, apologize. What is the timing for the metrics?
That's a very good question. Alisa, do we have any? It's very difficult for us, first of all, to give any numbers because we are going to adjust as we grow and discover more features. But yeah, Alisa, what's the current reasoning?
Yeah, so like I say, we are working to make sure all of the data that we have is accurate right now. That's in the works. We expect to be done with that, like early next week at the latest, probably. That's very specific. I know Pierre doesn't like that, but honestly, we're so close on that part. And then we start on the front end. We want to make sure everything goes well. So we're going to do some testing afterwards. So, I would expect, at least, and then we'll have people test it. We'll roll it out into beta and allow people to opt in to view it. Make sure everything is good before we kind of like roll it out to everyone by default. So, I would expect 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
All right. Yeah, man. That's all I was looking for was an idea, not holding you guys to anything. So thank you.
Yeah.
And then as far as specific metrics, are you guys looking at anything as far as like what I would call, say, customer service metrics? For like, as an example, response times, and all the things that you guys are tracking for your customer service side of the business. Any metrics there?
I would say that probably the closest metrics that we're showing for that would be within your reviews, showing your aggregate scores for communication and check-in and things like that. Would reflect, but it's not specifically your response time. So yeah, we don't have that.
Yeah, I think for now, sorry, our focus has really been on showing the data that we already have. That's probably is provided to us by OTAs, and we can make some more reservations. This is something that requires us to generate a lot of data over some big items. We did think about something exactly like that. That we designed over back in 2019. Anybody remember what happened around that time? So this is why it didn't happen. But we did have plans, obviously, to show a response time, especially if you are dealing with, if you're a property management company, you work with virtual assistants or guest experience people that are communicating with your guests, you want to be able to track the performance of your agents. That's something that we can do internally as a software as a service. We're using Intercom and we have all the dashboard that we need. It would be great if obviously you as a customer as an operator, can have the same insights into running your short-term business, your short-term rental business. See, I'm even talking fast myself. Okay, so I can see the comments in the chat. It's fine. I need to slow down. That's always good advice. But yeah, I think all that we're showing right now are the mockups. It's V1. It's what really everyone is doing. After we've established that, we are not going to abandon metrics. This is a good one. We're going to continue iterating on it. So if there is enough people interested by this feature, we can work on it.
Perfect. Yeah, that makes sense in your direction. And thanks for that info.
Thank you very much, Tom. Have a great rest of your day and keep talking with Andrew. Next one, we have Becky, which I'm going to allow to talk first. Hello, Becky Hill. How can we help you today?
Hey, I just had a quick question. My whole service is I set up people with their Hospitable, Airbnb, all their listings that they may need, price labs, all that. And something that I've come across with quite a few of my clients is that when they're getting reservations, mostly through VRBO, when it shows up on VRBO and Hospitable, reservations on Airbnb and it gets translated to our VRBO, it's blocking dates on both ends, or the reservation will be not accurate to the days. And so like if it's the 23rd through 25th, it'll show the 22nd through the 24th kind of thing. I'm wondering if you guys have noticed that or heard about it in support.
I think that's something that you would have to escalate maybe with Kevin. So have you escalated that to the support team already?
Yeah, I've mentioned it. I've done it in a few different clients' accounts now. Yes.
Okay, so that's something important for us to know. Kevin, are you familiar with that? Or Alisa?
Yes.
Yeah, we've I've seen a few tickets like that. Becky, I'll be happy to reach out to you and look into your account to see what's going on and give you more detailed answers since it's specific.
Yeah.
That's
It's not
super.
specific to my
Kevin,
account personally. It's just I deal with a lot. Like I'm signing up, multiple clients a day and just trying to help them as well.
Kevin,
Right.
just
Okay.
we
Yeah.
can give people an idea. This does seem to have to do with when people are importing their iCals, when people are importing iCals into VRBO specifically, which isn't necessary if you have your listings merged in our system into one property. Like if something should be all managed from one calendar, then it needs to be merged into one property in our system. That is what allows us to sync the calendar. When I know VRBO had done something different with how they parse iCals, and so it caused the dates to shift.
Yeah.
In a weird way. So if those iCals aren't important to VRBO anymore, then you won't have that issue. At least that's what I have seen, Kevin, though please tell me if I've gone too far.
Yeah,
No,
that does ring a bell, but no, that's not it, Kevin.
Yeah, no. Alyssa explained it perfectly. She is a little bit more technical than me, but yeah, it's definitely deals with the iCal. So I'd be happy to look into it with you, Becky. I'll shoot you a DM and I'll need your email to go into your account and we can take a look at that for you.
Yeah,
All right.
you
No,
can
that's a
send
great insight because I do both. I merge it and then I also put in the iCal with the assumption that it was, just like a backup. But if that's causing the issue, then I will stop importing the iCal for VRBO.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, and that's something that's not new, and it's really based on Verbo that seem to basically have misunderstanding or basically a different opinion on what to check out it is like, and we have adjusted for more of the Airbnb school of thought. So yeah, if in that case, that's known as very easy to fix. To share your email, you can send that over to the chat. Make sure you select host and panelist so that Kevin can receive it. Thank you very much, Becky. Good luck on onboarding those accounts. And hopefully have stable and reliable availabilities. Next, we have Gina, but before that, I see a question in Q&A that a good friend Kevin is trying to answer. Is there a way to make a listing for 4 of my listings being able to be rented as one by a large group? So you've noticed that today, unfortunately, Emily couldn't make it because of a family situation. This is maybe what you're talking about, Tracy. We're talking about we are working on parent-child listings. This is something that we wanted to give you an update, but Emily was the one that should have taken the credit. We're making very good progress on being able to create a group, a family of listings with parent and child and children. With the behavior, all the back-end work on that piece is complete. What we're working on now with a fantastic engineer, Luke, based in the UK, is working with reservation sync so that when one listing is blocked with a new reservation, then it blocks all the other, or depending on your behavior, it will block all the corresponding listings in the same group in the same family. So that's one other thing we're talking about. If you're dealing with something a bit more elaborate, we'd love to know more. This may be something like a multiple inventory listing. In that case, I would much rather have you be on stage to get a great answer. Kevin, is that what you were going to answer anyway?
Yeah, definitely. I was reaching out to Tracy. It's parent-child, and I'm gonna send you the link, Tracy, to our last town hall. So you can see.
Actually, I'm sorry, Gina. I'm sorry, everyone. She raised her hand, so now she can talk. Hello, Tracy. You're live. We can hear you.
Hi. Sorry about that. I had a call come in.
That's perfect. So tell us more about your setup. You want 4 of your listings to be able to be rented as one by a large group. So
yes,
that seems
I have 4 condos right next door to each other, and they're the only 4 units in that building. But we would like to be able to make them presentable for larger parties to be able to rent all 4 units for bigger gatherings. And I was wondering if that's a possibility at all.
So for what it seems like, you will be able to have that work as parent-child listings. So obviously, you'll be able to have each individual condos that can be booked separately. And if any of the 4 condos is being booked, then it will block the parent listing that is the sum of all 4. Does it sound correct?
Yep, I think that answers it.
So that's what we're working on. It's not live quite yet. I think it's going to take us a few weeks because we decided to pay a little bit of a technical debt with everything that is reservation sync related, which is a very critical feature. So it's not something that we're going to rush and see how it works. So that's something that you can expect to hear about. Probably next time we're going to give you an update on parent-child listing. It's a very important item for us. And we seem to have found a very user-friendly way to make it work. And thank you for Emily for working on that. So sorry for having you jump there. Thank you very much. But I found that was also a missing part of our updates.
I was also wondering if someone can reach out to me also, because I'm also noticing my calendar is restricted on my Hospitable account for my VRBO. So I'm wondering if that's the iCal link that I screwed up that you guys were just discussing, or I just got back from out of town.
It may be
something
something a bit different. Alisa has something for you.
Yeah, it's not the iCals. It's so just first question. Are you or have you been connected to any other property management software on your VRBO?
I just had a VA design our property website, and I believe he may have connected something, but I have no idea what.
Okay, yeah. It'd be good to find out what, but basically the way VRBO works is when you connect one of their official partner integration, like one of their another property management software to them, they kind of lock down their calendar so that only that software can update the calendar, basically. And that's why we just let you know, hey, your calendar is restricted on our end. We can still send and receive messages like normal. That's all fine. We just can't push anything to your VRBO calendar in those instances. So that sounds like is likely what happened. Your VA might have gone with Logify or something. I don't know, something like that. They might have connected to something to that effect. And then it restricts it on our end.
I think they would have noticed if because there would be a cost associated with it, invoice and all. So anyway, good call to reach out, to have someone reach out to you. So share your email in the chat, make sure it's restricted to host and panelist, so that we can make sure we get back to you, Tracy.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, finally, we're going to be able to go to Gina. I very much apologize, but it turned up to be a bigger thing. Hello, Gina.
Hello.
You're live. Hey, hello. How can we help you?
Okay, so I have a few questions here, so bear with me. And happy to follow this up in email as well, but wanted to sort of directly ask you guys first to see if there was any insight there. And this does kind of also relate to the calendar stuff you were just talking about, but basically, we love Hospitable. We have used it for our messaging for a long time, and the lock integration is amazing. So we're using it for our locks, and we'll likely be using it for direct booking as well. But a big question we have that's crucial to our workflow is basically, how can we have Hospitable's calendar speak to our PMS's calendar, either for Hospitable direct bookings to show up in our PMS calendar, or for direct or manual bookings from the PMS to appear in Hospitable's calendar so the locks will get programmed. And I don't know if I should keep going or if I should pause there, because I think related questions.
That's a big one, and that's basically a bit of a technical question. And I think for a lot of our audience, basically, it's a bit hard to translate. So you are using another product that basically is requiring to be the source of truth. And therefore you're locked out of the dashboard of the OTA, would be it Verbo, or be it Airbnb or Booking.com. And you basically want the management, you still want your calendar to be managed by that outside product, while basically you are relying on smart locks and all. Smart locks, direct booking website on our product. If you are using, so what are the things that are blocking you from making the complete switch over to Hospitable in particular? What are the features
we're
that
using Hostaway as our main PMS?
I'm sorry for you.
Okay, there's a lot to unpack there.
No, that's fine. They do their contribution to the
like,
Toronto real estate market, so it's good.
Yeah, I mean, at least like this sort of doesn't even have to do with the OTA bookings because like
Yeah.
all the Airbnb stuff works fine. But for direct bookings, like we would at least want it to show up. And so like we've been sort of trying to figure it out in different ways because mainly like we want Hospitable to program the logs. And so I don't know if, first of all, if there's any work that you guys are doing on like integrating with Zapier or any integration with like Hostaway. You know, you guys integrate to a lot of you guys share some integrations, but you don't directly integrate with each other. But also like, even just at the least, like greater access to the public API, like ability to create a reservation or write to the Hospitable calendar through the API, or at
But
least.
sorry, Gina, but what is the
Sorry.
feature that Hostaway has that we currently do not have that basically prevents you from doing the switch completely? Because it seems like you're expecting that we're having a lot of responsibility with smart logs, so we need to manage all the reservations, and with direct booking, so we need to have full visibility into your calendar and their rates.
Yeah. I don't know. That's like a harder question to answer off the top
Are you
of the
using
head,
Hostaway
honestly.
because you paid for it and now you're trying to keep on using it, but you
Well,
want
we
to
were
switch over to
using
Hospitable?
Guesty for host before, and it just
Oh,
like
okay.
didn't do very much. You know, like we just needed to upgrade from that. And I don't know if Hospitable is treated as like a full PMS by Airbnb. I would have to double check on this, but I am not sure if we can do everything in Hospitable.
That
I'm
depends on
not totally sure.
what everything is.
I know.
We are very focused. We're very focused, and you probably don't need to have everything. Everything is a lot. I think it's what good here for you is just sitting down and realizing what do you really need for real,
Okay.
and then finding it Hospitable can work, because I think you'll be saving a lot of money, and probably streamlining a bit. I mean, sleeping at night.
You know, I think if you wanted to schedule an office hour call with anyone on the product team, we would love to chat with you and see if there's anything we can do to help. We're not going to be able to, you know, improve the public API
Sure,
overnight.
maybe that'll be
but-
more
But
straightforward.
yeah, we'd love to walk you through your use cases and see if we can support them. And if we can't, what do we need to do to support them? But yeah.
All right. Should I just share my email in the chat and then?
Yeah, you can do that.
Something like that.
And yeah, for anyone else, you know, we have office hour times available within Hospitable. You can go to the help section and there's a place to give feedback, and you can schedule office hours with almost the entire product team as well as engineering. We're happy to talk to customers outside of the town hall as well. But yeah, I see your email there, and I'll follow up with you.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks.
And to answer on some of the questions that you raised, we may or may not be working on a Zapier integration. As for basically we're working really on seriously improving our API for platform products, so really to integrate with other added value partners. I don't think we've heard a lot of requests for now about integrating with property management software.
Yeah, that makes
Obviously,
sense.
you see what we're building with metrics. We want to basically fill a big gap in our product, which is really based on those what we call owner statements and having a bit of metrics analytics, which is also one of the core features of what a PMS is like. And to answer your question, we are not blocking your calendar. We are not going to prevent you from going to Airbnb. We're going to tolerate that, and we're going to import prices. And you can use Airbnb as much as you like. So as soon as Airbnb is releasing a feature, you can access it. You're not dependent on your PMS, which would be the technical PMS that would restrict you from those features. You also can use variable integration. You can do all the features I believe that we can do. With you still, for example, have access to the latest feature, One Key, which is the loyalty program for returning guests, which basically PMS customers are excluded from because it's only for those reservations where Verbo is a merchant of record. So there are a lot of, we are not a technical PMS because that would require you to kick you out of your OTAs to have every function of the calendar managed to our own product. But there are benefits associated with that as well. Is obviously you can keep using your OTA and have access to all the latest features that they're releasing and loyalty programs. But you can also still have the same benefits, because in our case, you can still push prices from our calendar, if you call it like that. We have integration with now all major and others pricing and revenue providers, so everything out there, and we are pushing prices and rates. We're improving that with occupancy-based pricing and all stuff. And we were among the first one with this wide range of smart lock integration to keep expanding. So I think if you want to consolidate your tech stack, should consider us. That's what I'm saying.
All right.
Okay. Thank you, Gina. We have two people who raised their hands. I'm gonna stop there. We're gonna be able to have Jim Wee and then Nate. Jim Wee, go ahead. How can we help you? I need to click the button allow to talk. Hello, Jim Wee. Now you can talk. How can we help you? I think you're muted.
An email to
Now
our
you go.
booking site different than our personal email.
Sorry, tell me again.
I wanted to add a different email like booking at instead of using the personal email for the Hospitable.
So you want to change your email address on Hospitable?
Well, can we have one email for us? Sarah's our manager and it's her email in there now, but we want to use a different email that people would contact us at for booking. Is there somewhere to do that?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Okay, so the only place I can find to put in an email is in the profile.
Yeah, exactly.
Right
That will
now
be your login email.
Right, the login email. Is there somewhere to add an email that our guests could use? As in, we want to say booking at campstreetcabanas.com.
For what purpose? Where would they use that email address?
Well, she doesn't seem to want to change hers off of the site. So that's, I don't know, there's not a whole lot of purpose to it, but I guess there's no way to do that.
So right now, no, there are multiple acts, and I think our support team can help you with that. But it would be a bit complicated and depending really on what you're really trying to achieve.
Okay.
So I would recommend starting a ticket really simply for us to qualify and understand what you're really asking for. To be clear, your guests normally, when they start on direct booking website, for example, are reaching out into an email address, and they can be following up upon on an email address that's generated and allow us, our system, to basically work. So there is no visibility on your specific email address and login in particular.
Okay.
It works a bit separately. Okay. So thank you for that, Jim. Please escalate that on our support on live chat so that we can probe that a little bit. And then we have Nate to finish this lovely town hall. Hello, Nate. How can we help you? Nate, we can hear you. Maybe you muted your mic. Oh, you left? No.
How about now? There you
now
go.
You do. Now it works.
So I use Hospitable's, the smart code generation to generate the codes for guests. I'm wondering if this might be possible. It might not be. Is there like a functionality to allow early check-ins for guests? So one of the things guests constantly ask, like, hey, can we check out early? Can we check out late? Right now, I go into so I use August as the platform. So I go into August itself. Then I got to go find the guest account and then edit it to whatever time it's set. Is there a simple way that I can say, hey, my normal check-in hours are check-in time is 4 p.m. I want to give this guest a 2 p.m. check-in, or whatever the check-in time I decide.
That is such an amazing question, Nate. Please, thank you for asking it. At least we're gonna finish on a great note.
I was paid for this question.
Now everybody's gonna wonder, how can I get paid? I'm gonna take part of it. So we have a lot of questions and a lot of comments on that on our Facebook group, on Hospitable Host Facebook group, and we're going to adjust a few things on our side so that if you are doing, if you insist on updating things from your app, we're going to try and take that into account. Kevin or Alisa, do you want to answer on a better way?
I would like to
so
answer
much simpler.
it. Yes. Yeah. So the simplest way you can do that right now is understand that it's maybe not as noticeable that it's an editable thing in Hospitable, but you can actually edit your check-in and your checkout time for an individual reservation from within Hospitable, which will
Oh.
change the start and end times of your smart lock codes or when they're active. So if you can do this from the calendar, when you click on a booking and it opens that little sidebar, you can also do this from within your inbox. You go to that bookings conversation where it says check-in, you can actually click on that and it will immediately allow you to edit it. You click off of it, it's done. We'll update your code timing, we'll update message timing and things like that as well. I know there are some people that do particularly just like going to their lock app to do those sorts of things. And we are, as Pierre mentioned, working on an update right now, which will allow that to happen. Right now, it doesn't, as you might have noticed. But we are working on allowing updates of our managed codes in the lock apps. But obviously it can be nice to just have everything in one place. So if you're already in your Hospitable dashboard, you can just update your check-in time.
Question for me is, I mean, I definitely want to do it everything from the Hospitable app itself. Like, I don't want to go into different things. My question, I guess, is if I update, so this is the first time I'm even learning about that you can update the check-in time individually. But once I do update the check-in time for a user, will it automatically update any existing codes? Because I think Hospitable creates the codes like 3 days before or something like that. I know there's like a grace period of code creation.
So it's actually that. So just to be clear, and this for everyone too, like there's I think a little bit of a misunderstanding there. When as long as you have your lock matched to a property, when a booking is accepted, as soon as that booking is accepted, we will create a code for it. And then we send that to our lock integration partner. Now they hold that code until 3 days before your check-in time. And so to send it to your lock. So you won't actually see it on your lock app until 3 days before, but that code has definitely, it's already, we've already created it. Our lock integrator is holding it. The reason they wait until about 3 days before to put it to your lock app is because for all of them, you can't have codes that have the exact same numbers. You can't have codes that have the same names. And so somebody books 2 years in advance, they could be locking down that code for like the next 2 years. Nobody needs that. So we see a significantly less failures this way.
And I guess my follow-up question is like, if the code's already created on my my lock, right? Would the update to the time reflect on the okay?
Yes. Yeah,
100%.
Awesome.
There is an additional bonus to doing that modification of the check-in or the checkout time directly on Hospitable, directly on your inbox. First of all, we keep track of that, so that can help you. But the other thing, as we develop metrics, but the other thing is when you use the check-in hour in your check-in or checkout hour in your checkout instructions, we're going to use the new value with the actual check-in time that you want to set for your guest.
Perfect.
We're also going to change the scheduling of every message according to the actual reservation specific check-in hour or checkout hour. So we're going to have something very closely aligned as well. So if you want to have a clunky guest experience, my opinion is go ahead on as multiple apps as you can. If otherwise, just let us do our job. Update the check-in. As we're taking care of the logic, we're taking care of the buffers. We'll make sure that the data is consistently the same to communicate to the guest, so it's not clunky or weird. So that's why I would really still want to insist. We're going to support it. We're going to support the way that you are changing your check-in time, and we're not going to override it directly from your log app. But I still don't believe it's the best experience for your guest at all. And I think that's why there is a bit of frustration. It's also because it's hard to see that you can edit the check-in and checkout time. So yeah. Thank you, Nate, so much for that.
If you do update that check-in time, you'll see, it's kind of to David's question in the chat, is that, you'll see it, the update of the code in your lock app. You should see that within a minute.
Yeah.
As long as everything's connected.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Nate. Thank you so much for your question. We're going to stop it here. I'm going to disable you talking. So, Alisa, what did you think where this tunnel went? Did you think this tunnel will go? This is a bit weird.
I think it went very well, Pierre. This was a very successful town hall. Thank you all for joining us and for joining our polls and giving us all the wonderful feedback. And the product team looks forward to hearing specifically from people like the person that got up and said that there's maybe certain features missing. That's exactly what we love to hear and we love to discuss. So reach out to us.
No kidding. There is such a thing as a finished product, like when it's over and you can't
No
add
finish line
anything
here.
else.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you so much. I effed up, as you guys are saying. I live streamed on Facebook and on Facebook only because I didn't click the right button because moderation, it's a job. Don't do that at home. So you'll be seeing the YouTube recording a little bit later when we post it. I'm sorry for everyone who has been looking at YouTube in expectation of seeing our lovely faces talking about the product. That did not happen this week, but you'll still be having access to the recording. Thank you so very much. Bye-bye. Have a great evening from Brussels, a great afternoon from wherever you are in the world. And thank you for watching us. Thank you. Bye-bye.